Okay, let's start. To start with, probably with Ludovic from Sigfox and everybody after. A quick sales pitch, in fact, to have in 2 minutes what I should know about your company, so Sigfox in 2 minutes.
Okay, so thank you. Hello, everybody. So you have heard that IoT needs something else, and I think description don't come with something already existing, but for IoT, we need to invent something completely different. This is called the LPWA today, the space that has been defined by Sigfox early in 2011, just to address this billion of devices that will be connected. So what we have done at Sigfox, we have rolled out the network today in 4 countries globally, and we are announcing tomorrow the 12th country. This is for us the way to have the same network everywhere in the world, and we are, for the moment, the only one having a network up and running in many countries, being able to deliver a coverage map, SLA on price grid, which is for me something important. We have already 7 million objects in bookings on the network, so this is for us a new approach. We are working with the main silicon vendors, and this is the objective we have in 2 minutes. I can't go very deep into detail, so maybe what we have done is we have rolled out the network, as I mentioned, in 12 countries. We are today launching a hackathon in San Francisco because we have covered San Francisco, New York, and we have covered the top cities in the US early next year. And we are also entering in Asia, but you will stay in touch with Sigfox, and you will see that the next country we are covering in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Thank you. Bernardo from Bouygues Telecom.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Bernardo CABRERA. I'm heading the marketing and project management department within Bouygues Telecom and within the machine-to-machine business unit. I think that you might probably know Bouygues Telecom. We are a provider of fixed, mobile, internet, TV, and cloud services. And we have always been very focused on innovation and on improving customer experience. Machine-to-machine and IoT are part, obviously, of this innovation approach. We have been working for more than 15 years in the field of machine-to-machine with significant customers in the field of automotive, transportation, utilities, energy, and finance. And with significant success, we have doubled our installed base by the 2-3 past years. So yes, that's a market that we have a good knowledge and a good know-how. With LoRa, we are going through a new step because we see that as the ability to really develop new markets, new opportunities, new business, and to complement our offer in the field of IoT and machine-to-machine. So our goal is very clear, is to be able to answer all the requirements and the needs of our customers in the field of machine-to-machine and IoT, going from LPWA, obviously with LoRa, to 4G, including 2G and 3G, and taking advantage of our expertise and know-how in that sector.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to have, as you understand, the 2 technology providers on that side, and then we're going to have people providing objects, connected objects. So we're going to start with Montpellier-based Olivier from Awox.
Thanks for the invitation, Vincent. So let me present Awox in a few words. So we are a company focused at smart home and delivering solutions for consumer electronics. We deliver both solutions for lighting and for audio. We provide connected audio solutions, which are sold at retail under the brand Cabas. Cabas has been acquired by Awox in September 2014. And we provide also lighting solution for the do-it-yourself market, and in general for connecting your home and making a simple retrofit solution for your home, making your plug able to not only provide light, but also provide some some additional features like speakers, like camera, like smoke detectors, and we built on top your light plugs to provide a smart home solution. And aside from those two B2C activity, retail activity, we have also, and since 2003, we have an activity in offering connectivity for smartphones, tablets, and I would say smart home devices in general, and we provide those solutions to a large range, 60 million licenses sold last year, and that's a core part of our activity as well.
Thank you. And last but not least, so Xavier from SEB, so probably the first time at DigiWorld Summit, at least from SEB company. So it's nice to see very different people here. A little bit on SEB and what you're doing on connected products.
Okay, yes. Well, first, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the invitation. It's true that the first time that Group SEB is coming here. Group SEB actually is a worldwide leader for small domestic appliances with brands that you may know, like Molinex, Tefal, Krups, Roventa, etc., etc. And Group SEB is famous actually since, I would say, 1953, where they launched the first pressure cooker, or even not the first, but actually, and we will talk about it, a pressure cooker with a clear recipe book, always with the product to explain how it works. And it was maybe the start of the user experience that we did at that time. Now, since 4 or 5 years, Group SEB understood, I mean, the importance of launching connected device. And we are today one of the first company in the kitchen, I mean, having a connected device, multi-cooker in that case, in France since 2014. So we have a first feedback, but definitely it's just a start into the future.
Thank you. So let's start with one favorite from Samuel, the reality check. So where are we currently in terms of deployments? I mean, you mentioned a few numbers. Maybe let's start with Bernardo. You've got the mic. So automotive, smart cities, and so on. I mean, already plenty of deployments. And at the same time, I mean, numbers are not necessarily so high. I mean, so sometimes it's just pilots and so on. So where are we? What's blocking? What's too expensive? I mean, what's your point of view on that?
So where are we right now
Yeah.
in the field of machine-to-machine?
Yeah.
All right. I think that this is really a market there, and this is not a pipeline. This is a reality in terms of connection. The market size of machine-to-machine right now in France, at least, it's, I guess, 10 million connected objects. So that's the reality. In terms of main drivers, I think that there are two main drivers right now, at least on the field, in the field of machine-to-machine. One is dealing with automotive, obviously, with all the services that you can meet in the car. So this is dealing with car-centric applications, but it could be also with driver-centric applications. And obviously, the main drivers are right now dealing with the car-centric applications, especially in Europe with the emergency call. But there are already applications in the field of infotainment. So that's a big driver right now in the field of machine-to-machine. And the other one are dealing with consumer appliances, and especially, for example, e-book. The market was driven, at least in the United States, by the e-book with AT&T and Amazon. So that's already a reality. The point is that now with LPWA, you will, and specifically with LoRa in our case, you will be able to connect any kind of tiny object. So that opens a vast range of opportunities, obviously. From our perspective, we see first a market dealing with B2B and at least B2B2C applications. So it's dealing with smart building, with smart city applications, and with all the applications dealing with geolocalization.
Okay. Ludovic, maybe you can share some case studies, some examples of things that we don't even know, more obscure, in fact, and maybe they're not the same size, but which are, I mean, really amazing products and developments that are happening thanks to your technology?
Yeah, I'm not talking about machine to machine because it's, for me, it's the old acronyms for IoT. So these 10 million objects are more for classical car tracking and point of sale business. So I think for me, it's not the right sweet spot for IoT. The sweet spot for IoT come from the low-end devices that require something different in terms of consumption, price point, and SLA, which is completely different than what we had previously for the machine-to-machine market, because you may have in mind, if you want to monitor a door, for example, to know if it's open or not, you can't move the door because you don't have the connectivity in front of the door. So it's a completely different approach for IoT than for the GSM. And if you ask me for the main references we had, the first one is the security business market. We have signed a 5 million contract with Securitas very sure in Spain and France, and we are extending the contract in Northern Europe. And the main concern for us for that kind of use cases was first the way that we are preventing jamming, because today you can have your alarm panel. If someone comes with a jammer, you don't have any information because it's pretty easy to jam the GSM signal, which is not very easy to do with our technology. It's the reason why the Securitas Direct shows our technology. The second big market we announced also a few weeks ago, it's with Glen Canyon for electrical meters. We have also trackers. We have signed with a company like Samsung to be embedded in every white goods, be able to monitor your white goods. So it will be, at the end of the day, embedded in 600 million objects per year. So this is the big concern for this company that have to monitor their device for maintenance reasons. So this is plenty of solutions like this. I think I can talk about, today, as mentioned, we have 7 million in only few months, is because we launched the network 2014, and today we are 1 year after the openness of the network, so we are 7 million objects in France and Spain mainly, and also UK. But this is part of the answer.
Is it in fact cost the main breakthrough?
No, I will not say it's the cost. It's a big point, but consumptions. Because I think the three pillars are the simplicity. You don't have to deal with SIM card, any pairing station. There is the cost, of course, the cost of the device. Because I think at the end of the day, you have to pay the hardware at the minimum price. And today we have worked with the Leti, and we are now able to launch transceivers, the component at 30 cents, 30 cents. This is the target we have achieved in terms of hardware connectivity. In terms of subscription price point, we have at the average of 1.2 euros per year if we gather all the contracts we have signed. So this is the first point, but the last point, which is for me driving the OPEX for end customers, it is the consumption. If you have 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years of autonomy for your device, it changes completely the OPEX when you are connected powered by battery. And this, for me, I would like just to mention that point, because I heard many times that we are low power. For me, it does not mean anything. I think I would like to tell in the sentence in the public today, if someone is able to launch a contest between all the technology we have in front of us today, gathering GSM, Zigbee, LoRa, Sigfox, and whatever, to be able to define a way to monitor what is low power. Having the same power, same battery, and being able to send as many as possible frame with that whatever network, just to be able to define what is low power. We will have to define also what is low price, because we are entering that space of IoT. Many companies claim some crazy things, but I think we need references. So I will open the discussion with whoever we want, but I would like to suggest to find someone completely a non-profit situation to be able to define what is the IoT, because today it's something a little bit fuzzy.
Okay, let's move to our object providers. We're going to need the mic. If there is another mic, I'll take it. So Xavier, maybe first. I mean, so your consumer application, connected ones, what's the business model? I mean, do I pay more? Do I pay a service? How does it work?
Well, frankly, I mean, I don't have the business model. I cannot say, yes, we have it, we have discovered it, and that's easy to implement. We are still searching, working to define the best business model. What is sure is first you need to launch product and to understand why a consumer would be ready, to have a connected device compared to a normal device. And one position we have taken at Group SEB was to say the connection by itself is not a benefit for the consumer. And therefore, there is a few products, we will not connect in the coming months if we don't see any added value for the consumer. To connect a kettle might be useful, might not be useful. The idea is first to say, based on that, with connected device, what I like to say is the fundamental of marketing remains the same. So you need a clear product positioning, you need a clear benefit, functional benefit, emotional benefit, and then you have a connection which will emphasize or amplify the benefit of the device. And only at that point of time, you will be able to launch a connected product having some sense or making some sense for the consumer, and especially in terms of usage. Because that's key. Launching a product that you will see during 3 months on the countertop, and then the consumer is taking it and putting it anywhere and not using it anymore, it doesn't, it will not help. And the objective, especially when we speak later on about the data usage, etc., is to have products that people use. So that's for us the key challenge. And we rather decide to launch less product, but work more on the positioning, on the benefit for the consumer, than saying, okay, we want to be fast, we launch all the connected device, which is not complicated today. To connect a device is very easy. The question is, what does it bring to the end consumer? And that's where we focus today.
Olivier, so smart home, you do different things in the smart home. What works? What doesn't work?
Yeah, so first, we are at the cross of the music entertainment and lighting. So music today, music devices must be connected. And if you don't have a device today that is able to play back your Spotify or your Deezer music, you just won't be able to sell those devices, or it will be a pain. So we are in a market, at least for the music devices that we are building, that if they are not connected, they are just not selling. So for us, connectivity is a must, and there is already a value, and there are already services for musics. And if you look at the data from the market of smart home today, what GfK is saying is that 60% of the market is done today with entertainment devices, connected entertainment devices, and we are definitely it's a must here. And here the technology we have to select is there is no question is either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or both of them, but there are no questions on the technology we have to use here. For lighting, it's a different subject. For lighting, we have entered the market with a different approach. We believe that, there is a market for the people that want to buy a light and to set up the color of the light. It's a very simple use case. You have bought a lamp, a white lamp from a given vendor, and you don't find the lamp that gives the equivalent color, and you have to find just a device that will give you the possibility to select and change the color of a lamp. And only a connected lamp can do that today. Only a connected lamp can connect to your smartphone and be able to be changed. This is as basic as that. Now there is other features, and we have been in lighting, in offering more than light, and building hybrid devices that bring, in addition to the light, that bring entertainment or that brings security. And we see that those two domains, the entertainment or the security, the camera embedded in the light, makes also a very different, a very important appeal to the consumer today.
Okay, so keep the mic, Olivier. So you need connectivity. So do you buy anything from our other speakers? How do you choose your connectivity technologies, and also how do you exchange the data after that?
Okay, so today we are in a market which is quite fragmented. We can see that not speaking yet for the LP1 technology, the low power WAN solutions. First, on the I would say on the devices, on the IP devices, the devices that are connected on the home network to your box today. There are already 4 different standards that are currently being that are struggling. One is Apple HomeKit, the Silo from Apple. There is also the Google solution. Google. We'll use here the term Google With because it's the core of interoperability. Google With, knowing that today it's not yet mature inside Google because there is a Google With and there is a Nest With, and both are not the same. And then you have All-SYN, pushed mainly by Qualcomm, and then you have OIC pushed by Intel and Samsung. So we have 4 different standards today on the IP. And what we build at Awox is not only building devices, but also a way to connect all those ecosystems and make them talk together, knowing that Apple is quite difficult to make talking with the rest of the world. But and now, if we talk with the LP1 solution, it's a solution that we don't see at retail. There is no retail devices that you can buy at Leroy Merlin or Castorama or Loewe or MediaMarkt that can interact with LP1. However, that said, that does not prevent in some field the operation of this solution because it has some interest, and we are looking at that, and this is an important opportunity.
Yes, just to complement what you are saying and about your question, I'm not sure that the right approach is to say which connectivity you are going to choose. I mean, at the end of the day, what is important is the service, the usage, the application. So, yes, you're right. Obviously, there's some things that you can obviously do with such or such technology. That's important, and there is a need to have all the end devices to make this work, obviously. But the most important thing is what is the service, the application that you are going to propose to your customer and to the consumer. That's the main point. So I think that the key driver is dealing with the ecosystem of partners, and I mean, for all the layers of the value chain is the ecosystem that you're able to bring, because it helps the customer to have a great solution and it reduces cost. I see that this is really the right approach on that market.
And at the same time, so for Ludovic, I mean, there is the issue of network fragmentation, platform fragmentation. How do you try to position towards that? I mean, standardization efforts?
I think I will see what will be the standardization, but we have to go fast and lead the space. So it's the reason why we are not waiting for the standardization. It will take years, maybe 10 years or more. But I just want to do a small remark on that. We are sometimes focusing on smart city or smart home, which is the buzz space for IoT, but for me, it's a small space. It seems to be big because people are thinking about the alarm panel, everything we will have to manage internally at home. But for me, the main numbers will come from out of that market of smart city or smart home. To give you a small example, you may have heard about the dash button from Amazon, a single button you can stick on your washing machine to ask more power when needed. This button, I think I like the approach of Amazon to simplify the way that people can command the stuff like powder for your washing machine. This is, for me, they plan to have hundreds of millions of such single device, which is a single button. And this is one example. The other example is the way that we have to do predictive maintenance, to embed a motion sensor in every device is to see what happened and to be able to maintain the device before it broke. So this is for me the sweet spot of IoT from our perspective. I don't say that there is no business out of that, but for Sigfox, this is the core business for the coming years. That will happen. There is some research done by IDC or McKinsey Research telling that the main numbers will come from out of the smart home and smart city business, because there is a real need from customers, and they can have a return of investment pretty quickly in that space. So this is the reason why and today we are focusing this space. We know that there is a red ocean inside home because there is many technology available, plenty of technology, and it's not a question of technology for the end customers. It's a question of, it must be simple, because you don't have to get very accurate skill to be able to use your device. It must be cheap, because I think the price is the key point. If you imagine Nest, a smoke sensor at 120 euros, I think I don't see a very big market on that. For me, it's a niche market. Few people will be able to acquire a smoke sensor at 120 when you can buy them at 10 or 15 or 12 euros in the retail. So this is, for me, the main this approach of smart home is something tricky. At Sigfox, we have customers entering that space with us, but we don't want to take too many time in that space, because we know that the fight will be big, and we have so low-hanging fruit to take out of that we are focusing these other markets.
So Xavier, so no technology issues. I mean,
Well, definitely there is sometimes a technology issue, but the question, and I do agree with Bernardo and Ludovic, I mean, the key question is, first, what is the user experience? What do you want to expect? What is the benefit that you want to have? And then the technology will be chosen accordingly. And frankly speaking, I am a marketer, so I do not understand anything about technology. I'm not at all an engineer. And when I do brief on a user experience, I will say, for example, the consumer has an oven and he wanted to, for example, to start it when he's still in the office. And then the technology I mean to be used is definitely not a Bluetooth low energy, for example, but maybe more a Wi-Fi. Today, for example, if I take the example of our multi-cooker, it's a BLE. So I need to be close to my product. And we decided, I mean, to use BLE just because we said, okay, at one point of time, when you cook, you still need to put the ingredient inside the machine. So why having a device where, you know, you can connect or start it from your office, for example. So for me, again, it's really what is a use case, what is a user experience that you want to provide, and then you choose the right technology accordingly.
okay, so user experience. People use a lot Google, Apple type of services. How do you see? How do you see them? I mean, they're probably not going to do your products, but they could try to connect to your products. What's your position on the data that's going to be generated, the data that could be used and control on the machine? I mean, are you looking at silo approach? Are you looking at something more open?
Well, for our category, I would say we are still quite in advance, or I would say it differently, there is not a lot of connected device today. So first, our job is to sell and to find out the right benefit to sell product. But already, if I give you a concrete example on Cookéo, which is a multi-cooker we launched in France 8 months ago, already 15% or 15 to 20% of the range is sold by the connected device. So it means it starts entering the home. And that's the first and important step to say, okay, people start to have one product at home, which means for us, yes, we can collect data. And if we can collect data, we can definitely provide new services based on the data we collect, which means we know better the consumer and we can provide more relevant offer, specialized offer, or adapted offer for each consumers. Now the coming challenge, I would say, for us, again, in the kitchen only, will be to say, or actually in the home in general, is now they have one product. Tomorrow we do expect that they have 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, I mean, depending on the different statistics that we can see. How we can manage the interoperability between the product? How are we going to interconnect that product? And not to have a remote control to say, okay, I have my remote control to manage my oven and now my multi-cooker or my rice cooker or whatever. How can I make sure that, you know, connecting together multiple devices will bring me even more added value? And then for us, it will mean even more value, even more data that we can collect. And then again, I think it's a virtuous circle where we can even provide new services. And that's what we try to do.
Olivier, so a super aggregator, that could be somebody else.
Well, you can collect data if you make the consumer knowing it, if you have also the possibility for the consumer to stop collecting the data. I think that those are important things that you must have if you want to collect data. We are collecting data on user, but we keep it up to their need or not. They can or they cannot if they don't want to, and they can stop at some point. It's very important to stay within the regulation that we already have on this product in different countries, in France, and in Germany and elsewhere. We need to be following this carefully, but we need also to provide an added value for the consumer. If they don't see a value in getting some data collected and some return value on using this information to provide them some information about when to set up their clock, their watch clock for the morning, when they wake up, that kind of information, you could guess it if you be able to if you are Apple or Google, and this information they can already use it to simplify the access and the use of the connected devices. And of course, interoperability is core, and I'd like to repeat that interoperability of devices needs to have a technical, is lying into the technical part. And if you want to build a real virtuous circle, you need to have more and more devices connected to each other, and for that you need to have technologies that are able to speak to each other, not only the user experience here. So,
Ludovic, plenty of data.
Yes, obviously, owning the data, hosting the data is the graal for IoT, even for the web. But the key question for me right now, in 2015, is how to create this huge volume of data pushed into the cloud to develop big data analytics. And for me, we need to find the right business model. I like the move from Seb in becoming a smart object in the kitchen, but for me, this is tricky today to have large volume in that way, because the education of people is not so easy. And we have partners that have done something which is, for them, profitable from day one, is the way that embedding connectivity in oven, fridge, whatever devices at home, is the first idea they have, the first advantage they will get from that is to know how you are using your oven, your fridge, your washing machine, how many times per day, what is the weight of your clothes in the washing machine, and so on. And this is for them a way to monitor how you are using, to get analytics on their customers, and also to do predictive maintenance to improve their products. This is the first idea they have, and they can the return of investment only on that value proposition. But it is a big way, and smart way to move from manufacturing to service. Because as soon as you provide connectivity and you have reached your break-even point, just on analytics, without having to imply your customers in the relationship, because today what they are doing is completely anonymous. You will have your washing machine, your oven connected to the manufacturer. They will analyze user experience and but at the end of the day, they will be able to talk to you and say, hey, yeah, you can move from selling to manufacture to service, because we have the connection, we have the information, and we'll be able to rent your washing machine or your devices on a monthly basis, which is for me a smart move, because I think it's tricky to bootstrap this market of IoT. It's not so easy. Everybody is talking about the magical fridge, telling you that you have no more milk in your fridge, and it's funny to do some PR, but in the real life it doesn't work. So this, for me, the pitfall of IoT is this kind of use cases that have been pushed into the head of the consumers many years ago, and today the reality is completely different. And I think I only focus on projects that are targeting something which is profitable in the coming years and very quickly, because if it doesn't profitable very quickly, even for a smart city, Because smart city is also, you have many forums on a smart city, but who will pay for the smart object in the city? There is no more money today. We have to face big problem, what happened in Paris, so it's dramatic, and I think today it's quite normal to push the cash in that way, but having to pay for things that we don't know how we will get the return of investment in smart city is also a big problem. So I think I will just mention that we need to take care about the key market and be quite smart on to choose the right business model that can move on.
Yes, perhaps on your question dealing with the arrival of giants such as Apple or whatever. I think that we should be not being threatened by this because I think all in all it's good. First, it's good for the business. I mean, it's good news for IoT. So that means that this is not just an Eldorado, but there is some business to do there. So that's first a good news. And then it's a good thing for the market and innovation is stimulating the application, the usage once again, and that's very important. And it brings with them a lot of startups that are proposing new services, new usage. And I share your point with the fridge. I mean, I don't believe in a fridge that is going to say if it is empty or not. But at the same time, experience teaches me to be very humble with that kind of innovation, because at first, always an innovation sounds crazy. Even when we launched the mobile network, it sounded crazy to make a call over the mobile phone. Now it's normal, it's usual. So yes, the main thing is dealing with the profitability of the business model, but with all the applications, all the usage that kind of startup are bringing, I think that allows customers and clients to enable new business model and effectively to go from hardware to devices. And that's the big step that we are going to pass now in the field of IoT, I guess.
Okay, so you can prepare your question. This is going to be my last question to the panel. If you can answer with one sentence, it's nice. So even though you say, I mean, everything is progressing, it's nice, market is booming, what's the main hurdle? What's the main thing preventing the market to go really faster? Ludovic?
I think the IoT, I think I would like to see that market being faster than it is today, but we have to face the fact that as soon as you decide to do something in IoT, you need to develop prototype, you need to manufacture, and you need to roll this device on the market. So there is a funnel of 9 to 12 months before having an idea and being able to get revenue and to sell the services. So for me, what I am thinking that it will be improved, and maybe we need to have big players, big manufacturers that will be able to do some, I'd say, smart module that will lower the barrier and even the price and the time to market for any devices, because there is plenty of ideas, and I think there has many things to do, but still the manufacturing process, how we need to go from an idea to a market is still too high.
Yeah. Yeah. Xavier?
Well, I can even add on that one, because for an industry like Groupe SEB, I think the main, or one of the main issues is definitely the digital transformation of the organization. So especially when you are used to do hardware, it takes you 18 months to 2 years, I mean, to make an industry product. And now when you come with application, with new connected device, with services, etc., and you say, guys, I mean, startups can develop it in 2 weeks or 2 months, or it's at least faster than we do. One of the key challenges is to say, okay, how we can reorganize ourselves, how we can learn out of these new processes, how we can adapt ourselves. And I think if we are not successful in doing it, we are definitely having new competitors eating us very, very soon. But another way to to manage that would be to work completely on open innovation. And that's a little bit, I think, what Luc said at the end of his presentation, is to say, okay, when you have a strong platform where with your API, I mean, you can connect any startups or any internal or external client to co-develop with them something like that, it can prevent actually or helps this digital transformation.
Bernardo?
In terms of barriers, obviously I suppose that you are expecting to talk about the standardization, security, privacy, all that kind of things. I think that obviously there are barriers, but there is nothing that we cannot overpass. On IoT, I think that we need to probably change of paradigm. Until now, the projects have always been analyzed on the financial point of view. That means that only on the savings and scale economies that it brings. Now that we are able to connect mainly everything, there is a need to be more proactive on what it brings in terms of new business and to make this swap from hardware to service. I'm turning to the customer. I mean, there are risks, but at the same time, it can bring to the company a real advantage of being able to develop new services, to launch new services, to connect the object, to be more closer to your customer. And that's something that obviously is difficult, but I think it is a step we are moving on.
And Olivier, to conclude?
So being a digital company from the beginning, we don't need to transform, but certainly I would join with Ludovic to say that pricing is an important step for the connectivity to get across a large range of devices. We are now below $20 for our lamps. We need to go even lower to be able to get every device is connected, and yeah, the price of the connectivity is crucial for the next steps in the coming years.
Thank you. So we have time for questions from the room. So raise your hand. Don't be shy. I don't see anything anyway. So okay, one question here.
Thank you. Eric Montagne, Smart Things Club. I'd like to know, you said that there's no money for smart objects in the smart cities. That's right. But anyway, Bouygues Telecom with LoRa or Sigfox in San Francisco or New York are deploying new networks, LP1 networks. So what is the use case? What kind of service will be there, and in what extent it changed the way you can connect things or services compared to the legacy networks that are still in the cities?
Yes, we are doing the hackathon in San Francisco today just to see what kind of ideas can be launched. But we have a deal with the City Hall of San Francisco that we give for free the connectivity for the device that will help people to improve the transportation, to improve the quality, air quality, to monitor even gunshot. So there is many ideas like that that will be developed during the coming hours. And at the end of the day, for the moment, we are more on a free approach because they don't know where to invest and where will be the return of investment. There is the parking sensor business. There is the monitoring of air quality, trash monitoring. This is some good ideas, but at the end of the day, they don't know how to bootstrap that because it's kind of investment in the hardware is a big issue for them. So I don't know what will happen, what will be done in that hackathon, because we are partnering with Microsoft, with Facebook, with Samsung for that hackathon. So they will help us to deliver the hardware and to even connect Sigfox to the Azure platform of Microsoft. So they will a way to simplify the way that people develop applications. So, but once again, I don't know that even we can deliver for free, we can have free approach on the smart city. And what we believe that maybe people will develop open application for the smart city. For example, you have work with Pew Pew, which is a company that has done crowdfunding for meteo stations, weather forecasting stations, sorry. And they have done that for free, and everybody is acquiring his weather forecast station, and they install it and they deliver the data as an open data approach. I think this is the way that maybe smart city will be able to provide information or improve the way that the people are living in the big cities. But for the moment, I don't see really one business that can run efficiently in the city.
An answer maybe also from Bernardo, and then we'll take another question.
All right. Even I wasn't the one who said it. That's not an opportunity for us. It is actually. You said that there is no money, perhaps, but at the same time, there is some room, I think, for savings and economies. So as far as it brings economies or savings, yes, there could be some opportunities, depending on the town and the situation, obviously. So it's dealing, obviously, with waste management, with lighting, with parking management. Parking management is one of the biggest revenue of a town, so that's a big point for them. So in that way, there are some appetite. I don't know if what we are talking about, perhaps in terms of volume, that's not that big compared to electronic appliances, but yes, there is some room there.
Another question?
I don't agree, because for me it's not so simple. I think for me, if you want to solve real issue, we need to think big, not having a few parking connected. We need to have the whole town, all the city covered. So the reason why waste monitoring, all that stuff today, there are some samples just to do some press release in the newspaper, but in the real life, it's a small number. And for me, when you think small, you don't reach the expectation of that smart city. So this is for me the real state of that market.
Another question before the fight.
Yes. So the question is about data monetization that I see as a close adjacency to IoT. Are we going to find new models to monetize the data? And the question here is actually to all of you. I think depending on where you look at the problem, either from the network perspective or from the manufacturer perspective, are we going to see new ways of monetizing data?
Maybe a way to monetize data is to be able to do a network provider host the data in different verticals, do not compete with your customers in their verticals, but being able to aggregate data coming from healthcare, transportation, energy, and so on, and being able to try to, if there is some pattern among these different verticals, to be able to provide added information for the different customers. So this is a way for me to leverage the huge amount of data. We have to take care about not competing with our own customers, because it's a key issue. But I think this is part of the idea we have. And we may have in mind that today we are doing search on, I would say, text, more video on text. And I think we have to do search on real-time data in the future, not having single data, but having a trend of data. And I think there is some value in that. So being able to foresee what will happen, analyzing a trend of a trend of data. So it's for me some interesting thing we have to work with.
Olivier?
So an evident way to see the future of the monetization would be, I think what we see today is a very rapid ramp up of digital advertising. Not to say that we do anything in this domain right now, but if you look at the market today, the digital advertising is getting really important. At the same time, there are more and more tools that are getting around for people to get and block the advertisement. So there is something that will come up from this field, the advertising, because brands want to stick to you. They want to know what you do. They want to know a lot about what you are doing and what they can infer for you to sell. And I guess that there will be monetization here. And I don't see precisely what it will be, but there will be things here.
I think it's maybe a bit too early, at least for our industry, to tell you how to monetize the data. That's part of the business model we are still looking at. And because data, I mean, to be able to be monetized, first you need to collect, okay, that's what we can do already today, but then you need to structure, analyze, and then exploit. And for me, we are not there yet, or not enough. And you have there the other point to say we need to aggregate, to have even more data coming from a common platform, because then you give even more sense to your data, and then you can maybe have a better exploitation.
Maybe I will add something which is more easy to understand. We have, with Securitas Direct, connected 2 million alarm panels on devices with the same battery manufacturer. And what we provide to this battery manufacturer, it's a way to see what happened during it's only had been launched a few months ago, so the history is not so big. But we are able, because we are monitoring the battery in real time, we are able to deliver information to the battery manufacturer that we never have without this kind of solution, because we are able to push the consumption of the device and how the battery behave. This is something which is very important for him. He can't do that, because when you can't monitor, you can't do tests on millions of battery. This is an idea and a way what kind of data you can evaluate in your network.
Thank you. So we're going to have to move to the rest of the program. Thank you. Thanks the panel. Some applause, please, and the floor to Samuel.